Hello, it's Cara, and in this video, I'll be doing some landscape studies as a beginner artist, and also give you guys some tips from what I've learnt. I've only done 2 studies in the past, but I didn't really learn anything as I was just trying my best to make it look exactly like the reference. Just to clarify, my main art mostly consists of food illustrations, which you can see on my Instagram, but I also really want to do landscape art, especially from scenes of my favorite anime and games. The details I'm using: the XP Pen drawing tablet, Deco 1, the digital art program is Medibang, and the brushes that I use, watercolor wet and pencil for sketches. So let's get started then. I usually do the base color and define it with shadow and lighting to give it more depth and make it more 3D. Good shapes is a tip that I've learned from Marco's video on good shapes. I'll link it in the description below. So for example, I'm drawing some difficult shapes like the yellowish green part of the hills, or simple shapes like the circle for the moon. The flower part just magically came in because I forgot to record that part. I also use the sparkle brush for the flowers and Medibank because it'd be hard to draw individually themselves. Now I'm drawing in the shadows and lighting as I mentioned before. The grass is drawn in a zigzag kind of way, and I'm adding little lines for the grass. More on how to draw grass. So I'm drawing an individual piece just to show how to draw grass. At first I put in the base color, which is just a green, any green that you like. Then the first thing to do is add in zigzag shapes. The zigzags is bigger towards the bottom because they are closer to your eyes, and this and smaller zigzag goes towards the top because they're more far away. Also, the zigzags are supposed to show that the grass is not fully flat, that there's like little bumps on the grass. After I blend it in slightly, next is to draw little lines to indicate the grass. As with the zigzag shapes, the closer the grass, the bigger the lines, and further away, the smaller. Towards the back, there's no need to draw little lines because it's too far to see. Notice I'm using a yellowish green at the top and a bluish green at the bottom. And lastly, I am adding highlights and shadows to give the grass more depth. Here is a little summary of what I just said. You can pause it to read or take a screenshot if you like. Another thing to add is that this does not just apply to grass. You can also add in different types of leaves or flowers if you like. So yeah, that's the basics of grass that I've learnt. Here I'm just doing the finishing touches of this study. Um, this is my first study on greenery, I think, and I'm very satisfied with this. Now on to the next one. This study is mainly focused on clouds, but let's get the bottom part done first. I skipped out a lot of the stairway and the green part because I just talked about that in the last one. I drew this speed paint while I was watching Spirited Away, and I can just hear the soundtrack. For this speed paint, I used the color picker less this time, and the stairs look a lot more better than the original. And I found out that the clouds have a circular structure, and so I need to do the lighting and the shadows in that circular structure too. I don't know if that makes sense, so let's put it simpler by focusing on one cloud. Here is one cloud. It's sectioned into three shapes: the highlight, the base, and the shadow. This is similar to the good shapes tips I was talking about earlier. It's pretty self-explanatory, but notice how the first two have a bouncy circular structure and the last looks more inverted and spiky. This is mostly because the sun is above the cloud. The shadow is where the sunlight has not hit. This is the best I can do to explain, so I hope you understand. Okay, so the third piece was a picture from Genshin Impact. It's a pretty good game. I played it for like a year and stopped when Sumeru came out because of storage. So I missed the game a lot, but I mostly missed my favorite characters and the scenery. Definitely the scenery. This piece was taken in Liyue, which is my favorite region always, and there's so many places in there that I really want to draw. Okay, enough of that. Back to the painting. I had to do the line art in the middle of drawing because there were so many rocks. The colors were really nice because the rocks had a purple shade and a pink lighting to it compared to the green and yellow trees and the water. It had a nice balance of complementary colors. I cut a lot out from the speed paint because it was really long, and so I mostly focused on drawing the rocks. So here are the tips that I've learned from drawing this. I drew them individually to make it simpler. The rocks that I'm drawing have lots of different colors. These colors are used to show that the rocks have many different surfaces, and all these surfaces are in different angles as well. This is to give it a more interesting and random shape. When drawing a lot of rocks together, like in my study, I put a faint outline around them to separate them. I did it here as well to make it have a more finished look. If one rock on its own looks too simple, then you should add in a lot more so you can see it in a bigger picture kind of way and not individually. Here are the finishing touches. So those were the tips that I've learned. I've also done two other studies, but they took too long, so I'm not going to put in the speed paint. Thank you for sticking with me towards the end. You can definitely see the quality in my art decreasing with every study, but I was tired and I was burnt out. Once I did my normal food illustration, I became relieved. I'm thinking of doing a part 2 with studies of oceans, indoors, and buildings. See you next time. Bye.